Good evening, one and all. Good afternoon to you, Greg. Welcome to a very special edition of the R&R Revelations, the official name, now that we've now conquered that. I am not only joined by my co-host, Mr. Rhys David Evans, I am joined by the return into the channel, Mr. Greg Gilmore. How the devil are you, mate?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Mate, the pleasure is all ours. Thank you so much. Obviously, we talked a little bit before we went live. Rhys and I loved it when you were on the channel a long time ago. I can't believe how long ago it was, actually. So
pre-COVID, I think we determined pre-COVID, which is long time.
Pre-COVID, it's crazy. It's crazy how time flies, and lots have happened for ourselves, for yourself, and it's so great to have you all to ourselves this evening to share your story, your history, and things like that. Obviously, those of you in the comments, please get your questions in. Anything is welcome within reason. I appreciate, obviously, a lot of you probably watched the original show with Greg as well, so there might be some bit of reinvested into that as well along the way. But thank you so much. So we may as well jump straight into it then. If you wouldn't mind, for those new viewers, give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself, how you got into coaching and things like that, if that's okay with you, mate.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think like a lot of coaches, once you realize you can't really keep up anymore, it's kind of, what the hell's next? And for competitive folks like me, often it's like, all right, well, how can I still compete? How can I still be involved in the game? And for me, it was always right away, I knew I kind of wanted to be a coach once I realized I, quite frankly, wasn't that good anymore. So that's kind of how I jumped into coaching. And in terms of like coaching at the university level in America, like our setup with like college soccer, university soccer, football, it's unique, but I also think it's really special, the blending of the education aspect as well as, with the sports side of it. And I think it's an interesting time period for a lot of young adults. Like you get guys that are anywhere from 18 to 25 coming over here to get their education while also play at some of the highest levels in the country. And a lot of times at the same time, these kids, like myself, when I was a college player, they're trying to kind of figure out who they are as adults. And like my coach, when I was at university, had a tremendous impact on my life, completely changed who I was as a person, became more responsible, a lot more accountable, kind of realized there was more to life than staying up till super late hours of the night. So I kind of wanted to have that same impact on guys, but also I'm a competitor. Like I want to win trophies. I want to win championships. So for me, that's kind of how I slid into coaching. And I'm at a small Division II school in West Virginia right now, Salem University. And the last time we talked, I was the small Division III school, basically in the North Pole of America, Wisconsin. So again, a lot's changed, but I'm pretty happy right now. We're competing and excited.
How did you find the step from playing to coaching? Was it difficult knowing what to stop playing, sort of thing? Is that?
I don't think it was. In hindsight, yes, it was difficult, but I was so dumb and cocky when I was 24 and I first started coaching. Like I thought I was the man. Like I thought I was doing everything right. And I look at some of the sessions that I run now, and now I'm 36. And when I was first coaching, I was 24. Like there's stuff I did as a coach when I was 24, like I would never do now. But again, in terms of kind of managing players and stuff, for me, that always felt natural, which probably comes off as a little cocky, but I think it kind of helped that I started coaching at a younger age. Like I wasn't that far removed from being a player. I kind of understood what players were going through, where I was able to connect with them kind of a lot easier than I expected, I think. So for me, I wouldn't say it was overly challenging. I think kind of growing as a coach, that's the challenge. Like you can't ever really be complacent. If you think you know it all and you stay the same for 3-4 years, like the game's constantly evolving. If you don't evolve as a coach, like you're in trouble and your team's going to be in trouble, and then you're going to be out of a job. So that's obviously something to avoid.
So you touched a little bit about that, the transition there. How was it? Because you went into coaching quite young. So did how did the players adapt to that? Was it because I suppose what I'm getting at is, young coaches could potentially be open to being taken advantage of, being like one of the boys, one of the lads sort of thing.
Yeah,
Did you have to put down that between coach and friend, or that sort of thing?
I think I didn't really have any challenge with that. I think, and I've seen people have challenges with that. I think the big thing is you have to kind of embrace it. Like when I was 24 and being a coach, like there was no point in pretending like I was their grandfather. Like there was no point in pretending I was someone I wasn't. Like, so we were able to have conversations that maybe a older coach wouldn't have with players. Like, I think it kind of helps that if you try to, you just kind of have to embrace like, hey, like these guys are almost as old as me. And again, if you don't know how to kind of set the standards and set where the line is early, then you might run into problems. But for me, it was always like, okay, like we need to address this early on. Like these guys are almost the same age. So again, just kind of making sure players understand, like we're not friends. Like we have a different type of relationship, but also embracing the fact that, we're going to talk about a lot of the same things. We're not very far removed in age. We're not very far removed in the stage of our lives. And as long as you're open about it and understand it, it's usually not an issue. And I think you're seeing, honestly, more and more young coaches. I think you're starting to see more young coaches at the professional level as well. And again, as long as you know how to draw the line, how to talk to players, like it's usually not an obstacle.
You said you were in Wisconsin, the last job. How do you get this one now? Do you apply for another one? Was it a case of they headhunted you? How did that work out? And also, is it like over here where you have to look for a new house, move the family, buy somewhere to live, find somewhere to live, or do they help out with that sort of thing, the university?
So I applied for it. So I was at a Division III school. We were at a good level, but I kind of wanted a bigger challenge. And Division II is, in talent-wise, I think it's very close to Division I out here. Like there's Division II teams that beat Division I teams. I was also coaching a lot of Division II and Division I players in the summer for a semi-pro team. So for me, it was time for a change. It was time for a new challenge. I would love to brag and say I was headhunted, but that's not true. I applied for it. I was lucky enough where they flew me out toward the school and everything, and we decided like this was going to be I was the right man for the next project here. And it is a project. I inherited a team over here that was, no disrespect to the players that were here before, the coach here, like they had fallen on hard times, I would say. I think that's pretty fair to say. And we're in year 2 of kind of building it back up right now. But the last part of your question, it very much is a big move. I mean, this was, I want to say, 1,300 miles. I realize you guys don't use miles over there. Apologies, I don't know the conversion, but it was a long ways. I think 15-hour drive. Yeah. So buying a new house, a fiance telling her like, hey, do you mind looking for a new job in a different part of the country? So very big move. But we're pretty happy right now. So far, so good. I think everything's working out.
So when you said then about you had to, you inherited not the best playing squad, how, as a university, how do you go about revamping that squad? Can you go out and sign players? Do you have to look through the students and go, does anyone want to play football? Do you want to come for a trial? How does it work out for recruitment?
There's a lot of different ways. Ultimately, recruiting, like I'd say our culture in college sports over here has changed a little bit where it's very transfer heavy. So season ends and guys switch schools. So we brought in a lot of transfers, guys that are already playing at other schools. And we also brought in a lot of young guys, a lot of true freshmen, like first-year college students. But it was very much out with the old and in with the new. I think my first year last season, I want to say we brought in like 28 new players, and I think we only had 4 or 5 returning players that were a part of the last season. So it was, again, you kind of got a clean house, similar to the professional level where new manager comes in, like he's going to bring in a lot of his own guys, and he's oftentimes going to let go a lot of the players that were previously there. Obviously, it's a little bit more nuanced with like the educational aspect, but at the the same time, like, again, coaches have a lot of control of how they want to make their team, even more so at the Division II level and the previous level I was at. So we kind of rebuilt, I would say, 90% of the roster, and that's part of the challenge of kind of building up a program that's not in a good spot. Like, I know there's some coaches that enjoy like cleaning house. Personally, I don't. It's hard to kind of sit across from someone and say, hey, we're going to alter your scholarship, or we don't have a roster spot for you here anymore. Because you're basically telling a kid, like, hey, thanks for coming here and starting your education here, but you got to go find somewhere else to do that now. So it's not easy. It's admittedly a little bit cutthroat, but at the same time, like, I pay my bills based on us being able to win games. So it's unfortunately a necessary evil, part of the job.
So are they all brought in on a scholarship basis then? Is that the selling point when these young men are brought in? Are they all brought into the school on that sort of foundation?
It's a part of it. I would say majority of our players are on partial scholarships, and that's probably how majority of the universities are over here. It's pretty rare to have your education fully funded because of athletics. It does happen, more so at the Division I level than Division II, but usually there's always a cost, but basically we use soccer to help reduce the cost, and that is a massive part of the selling point. At the same time, because we're competing against other Division II schools for these kids, cost isn't the only reason they choose the school. Like, a lot of times I'll offer a kid something, another school's offering a kid something, and then it's kind of, okay, well, who do you want to play for? Like, whose vision? Kids are kind of choosing what vision they like more. And so that's kind of the fun part of recruiting, for me at least.
It's crazy. It just seems absolutely wild to me. Sorry, Reese.
No, go on.
That at university, I suppose from our standpoint, university level, you're getting coaches almost like bartering for your signature to come join a school, which seems intense and so crazy to me. Like, and I obviously appreciate it happens. It's not just football, soccer that it happens. It's American football, your football that it happens as well. And I appreciate probably a lot of other sports like baseball and things like that, basketball, etc. It's probably the same throughout
everything.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people also don't realize that. I would say the job is more like 80 might be a stretch, but probably like 60 to 80% recruiting versus probably 20 to 40% coaching. It's, again, because our job is to bring in the players. There's only so much you can change a player once they're here, but to your point, it's so competitive trying to get these guys here. So it's, again, the majority of the job, honestly, is recruiting, which a lot of people will come over from other areas, like, excited to coach. And it's like, man, like, recruiting is where it's at. Like, you got to be able to get the guys. If you can't get the guys, like, there's not a whole lot you can do.
What's the pool like for coaches then? Is it a good pool you can go, I want that coach, that coach, that coach? Or is it a case of just who's available and see if I can get them to adapt to my style of play and stuff?
I mean, there's tons of players always looking to play. It's hard. I'd say the challenge is finding kids that are willing to, like, go to your school, if that makes sense. There's definitely no shortage of players trying to play in the States. There's tons of Americans, tons of internationals. The challenge is really just, again, kind of selling your vision, getting guys to, like, buy into the vision. And also, for me, the challenge is making sure you get the right guys. Like, I judge guys, a lot of times I'm recruiting guys, especially guys that are overseas, and it's based on video. So imagine investing in someone where you've only seen 5 minutes of video. Like, to me, that's the risk, and that's the biggest challenge for us. Exactly, it is. And some coaches are better at it than others. Some players and their agents are also better at making videos than others. Some people know how to make someone really look good, and then you get them and you're like, yeah, exactly. So I'd say that's the biggest challenge of the job, the evaluation process. Obviously, Americans, like, I can go watch them play for a full 90 minutes. It's a lot easier. It's the non-Americans where you're gambling. That's the best word. You're judging. Obviously, you can you can get references, you can get all the things in the world, but unless you've seen a guy play 5 90-minute games, you've talked to them, you've seen how they react to negativity at practice, you've seen how they handle adversity, you just don't know. And you're forking over sometimes tens of thousands of dollars to invest in them. So it's a challenge.
Yeah. Is there a pathway to go from college into professional contracts? Is there something set up for them? Because I know like NFL has the draft. Is there something for soccer players then to go into?
100%. So I would say the college soccer landscape over here, it's grown immensely over the last maybe 5-10 years. You're seeing, like, especially at the Division I level, it's becoming more and more popular. You're seeing more and more internationals playing over here, and you're also seeing universities invest more and more in the sport. Whereas before, it used to kind of be American football and basketball, like those were the heavy hitters. And now you're seeing, like, I went to a WVU Marshall game. That's 2 of the top teams in Division I. I went there last Friday. The stands were packed. You had people that couldn't find seats, and again, this is West Virginia. West Virginia is not exactly the soccer football capital of the world over here. Like, this used to be a state where if you said, oh, my kid's going to play soccer, people would be like, what the hell are you doing? And they'd say a lot of derogatory things that I can't repeat on this. But to see that many people at a WVU game, like, I was shocked. So it's grown immensely. In terms of the pro side in America, like, you're seeing more and more university players sign contracts. You're also seeing more and more university players sign contracts abroad. And I think part of that's through social media. There's more and more kind of lower level agencies that exist now. It's just, again, I would say it's exploded since I was a player. I think that's the appropriate way to describe it.
And you obviously said now it's a Division 3 team, Division 2 team. Is there promotion or relegation in college football? Can you actually go up to Division 1 with your team?
No, there's listen, promotion and relegation, like, it's not a thing in America, like, anywhere. Like, I wish it should be. And if you want to talk about the pro side of things, it drives me insane that we don't have promotion and relegation. But you're very much locked into the division you're in. Occasionally, schools will change divisions, but that's usually because they're making a basketball decision, honestly.
I think that stifles progress and development.
Our lack of promotion. Yeah. Our lack of promotion and relegation.
Off, is it?
Can you hear that? Oh my God! They just got back from practice. I'm like 20 feet away from the lock. My guess. So we have like a pretty big TV in there. My guess is they're watching something over there. Is that too loud? I can probably.
No, it's fine.
No, mate, you're absolutely fine. You're fine. I'm guessing watching the Liverpool Madrid game.
That's 100. We got it. Yes, that is probably 100% what they're watching. Actually, now I know that's what they're watching. Yeah, but in terms of the promotion and relegation side of things, it kills us in terms of professional development. Like, so for example, if you're a 12-year-old and you're getting coached over in Europe, you're probably getting coached by someone that's relatively full-time employed. Like, their goal, their career is coaching. Over here, it's usually a volunteer or someone that's part-time. And what Americans complain about is like, oh, kids have to pay to get coached as a kid by a professional. And like, yeah, it's a problem, but then it's, okay, where does that money come from to employ someone to coach 12-year-olds full-time? The reason we don't have enough of those is, like, how do we make a 12-year-old get coached by a professional for free? It has to come from the professional teams, but professional teams aren't motivated at all to develop young talent because, again, they don't need to. Because we just draft players. Players enter a draft, and pro teams get to choose them. So there's no incentive for professional teams, the teams that have all the money to develop young talent here. And again, if you had promotion and relegation, teams would be motivated to develop young talent. But for me, the whole system here is backwards. And I don't know when the last time our World Cup team was successful. I think maybe 2012. I don't know, probably even before that. Maybe 20. I have no idea. Long time ago. And for me, like, we need to change how we do things at the youth level here. But it starts with changing how we do things on the professional level.
because I think, if I got correct, with the NFL draft, I think it's the team ends the season with the worst record gets the first pick.
Yep.
So it's rewarding failure in some regards then, really. You're thinking, my season's bad. Let's make it the worst one we got. We get our first pick now next year.
We do that basically in every professional sport here. Soccer as well. We do it. We have the MLS draft, and the problem is owners aren't punished at all if their team does terribly. They got no skin in the game. It's saying, hey, 5 games left in the season. Let's rest the stars. Make sure they don't get hurt for next year, and we get the number 1 draft pick. It's backwards. It's uncompetitive, and it doesn't help grow the game at all.
Go on, sir. I was reading the other day something about is it discovery rights they call it? So if say Chicago Fire say we've discovered Kevin De Bruyne, they get the first right to talk to him before everyone else can talk to him. And that to me is wild. I mean, that means every year now is our list of 5 players, and no one else can speak to him unless we do. And I think that's a bit. I don't know. That just seems to be.
It's counterproductive.
You're not creating an environment of competitiveness then. It's just, he can have this player, we'll have this one instead. We've discovered him somehow. He's been around for years.
And again, that goes back to kind of what I said at the start. Like, we need professional teams. They need to have the responsibility of developing the next wave of talent. They don't have any of that responsibility right now. They're the only teams with the money to have professionals coaching you, like 14-year-olds. Right now, if you want to be coached by a professional when you're 14, you probably need to fork over anywhere between $3,000 and $10,000 a year. And it's insane. And families are doing that, which fine, but imagine the amount of talent we are missing out on because families can't afford it. And so how do we make it affordable? Again, professional teams have to do it. But instead we have this system that kind of just creates or maybe develops parity amongst teams. Maybe that's the best way to say it. But our talent pool, it's not deep enough, and we're not doing what we need to do to make it deeper.
I think that leads on to something, Dan said from Nebraska University, we had one a few weeks ago, and he said there's no need for academies when you've got universities like Nebraska with a £200 million a year athletics department. And like they're signing kids now 15, 16 years old, ready for when they are able to go to Cork University. And you just think, again, it sounds like the teams are relying so much on universities to do the work for them. I mean, do you get rewarded if you've got a player now that gets drafted? Do you get rewarded? Does the school get rewarded for that?
No, I mean the reward is really we get to tell another recruit, hey, Tommy here got drafted, so you, Dylan, you could be the next Tommy. That's the reward. There's no real, and then you hope he goes and makes $1 million paying, and he kicks you back some money. There's no reward for that. And I don't want to necessarily disagree with the last guest, but I don't think there's enough universities to develop a deep enough talent pool for us to compete at an international level. There's Nebraska, they have the resources, but there's only another maybe 100 schools that have the resources like Nebraska. For me, we just need more.
Yeah, again, as a country the size of America, I mean, the last World Cup, we qualified Wales. A country our size, I think, with 3 million population, we drew 1-1 with America, which I think we play football a lot longer, so it's a difference. But again, the population size, the standard should be so much different. The standard America should be having right now should be leagues above us with the population you got. And it's crazy because every international tournament you see all the time, it's built up like this is the tournament.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with
giant. That's what it's foretold as being. This is it. You got the Pulisic coming through and all that, and you're thinking, right, this is it. They're going to kick on. Obviously going back a few years ago, jump.
Go on.
But with Lyndon Donovan, Tim Howard, Clint Dempsey, players like that, you're thinking, right, going to get to the next level, going to kick on and go to that level, and then it poo-poos and then just goes silent, and then so we got the next breed of youngsters coming through and things like that, and obviously it doesn't help, of course, because there's no doubt about it. Football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, is not obviously nowhere near the number one sport in America. It's clear as day.
It's catching up though, and this is what shocks me. Pulisic, I honestly, I fell for it. Like, I thought we were going to take the next step as an international program with him, but we just haven't. There's no other way to say it. And yeah, I mean, you got teams like Iceland, Wales, you got all these like much smaller countries with not nearly as much money as we have over here, and they mop the floor with us, like, or dribble all over us, however you want to call it. So standards need to go up again. I think it's competition. Like, Pulisic, as long as he's healthy, he knows he's going to play. Like, I just don't think our talent pool is deep enough. And I think 2004 was the last year we won a knockout round game in the World Cup. I think I got that right. I think you go back then, like, our team, it wasn't the most talented. Back then, there was, I don't know, we did things the dirty way, not dirty in a negative way, but defended, got behind the ball. Like, we didn't have the guys that could do what Pulisic had, but we had guys that were ready to go to war during a game. Now we have some talented guys, but I don't know if it's because they're not pushed enough. I have no idea. Like, we just, like you said, we haven't taken the next step. Every single time we hype it up like this is going to be the year, this is going to be the tournament, and it hasn't happened.
There's doesn't seem to be no middle ground either. So see the players that go to Europe and have fantastic careers. Winston McKennie, you got Pulisic, Tim Ream went to Fulham, had a wonderful time there. But then there's no middle ground. It seems we either do have a fantastic time. Then you've got other players like Horvath come to Cardiff, struggled. Eddie Johnson, we had him alone at Cardiff. He worked the socks off. He seems to struggle. There's no middle ground. It's either they are superstars or they just struggle. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's a case of not enough of them are going to Europe and playing more competitive football. And it's probably a good thing they're staying in the States. A lot of them are. But I think it's like Wales. Bale went to Madrid. We benefited from that. Ramsey goes to Juventus. We benefit from that. You need to export your players, I think, a bit more throughout Europe. That's all.
I would agree. I don't think enough of our guys have had success going overseas. I don't quite know the solution or the answer on why that's happened, but we've had some guys that have gone over, struggled. I mean, Landon Donovan was probably one of the most successful players for our national team. Like, he struggled when he went to Europe. I think probably the most successful was probably Clint Dempsey and maybe Tim Howard going back a bit.
Brad Friedel done very well.
Yeah. There's a couple more, I guess, than
going back a few years. In fairness, it says before Reese's time, I expect.
Again, what he said, Rangers stuff like that.
But now we're talking about like past generations again. I think McKinney's done well, but again, I don't know, when guys are kind of at the highest levels over in Europe, I just don't think it's happened yet.
This I've noticed as well is a bit of controversy with the national team in the last few years. I think is it the last coach. There was a big scandal about an issue with him and his partner. And then there was an issue with a player having a go at the manager for not playing his son. I think it was. Then.
That one of our most decorated players of all time. Oh my God, it sickens me, honestly, because that
triggered him now, Reese.
Yeah, now I'm having a meltdown. Well, and I'll put it into context, because like our youth sports over here, our high school sports, even kind of university, like parents are becoming more and more involved, and like you have parents trying to get coaches fired, even at like really young ages, and so for like that to play out on the international stage for a World Cup team, I just couldn't believe it, and I was like, this is everything that's wrong with youth sports, and it's happening at the highest levels of our sport. A parent trying to get a coach fired, trying to get a World Cup coach fired. Like, it was just comical to me, and it also showed like how far we really need to come culture wise. But yeah, sorry to go off on a tangent there.
You're fine.
I was going to say, I think I was reading Potter's having problems now with some players pulling out the friendlies, and is it the Gold Cup games? Some players not wanting to go play for them because they don't see it as important enough. I mean, I don't quite understand what's happened, because again, like, 10 years ago, Brad Friedel, Tim Howard, Donovan, Morissette, all these players, it seemed like they would kill to play for the country. Now it seems to be a case of I'm going to get called up regardless. I don't need to go to this one.
It's lack of competitiveness. I don't even know.
That was the same. I'd argue though, Reese, years ago. That was the same for Wales. Back prior to Toshak and Speed. That was very, very apparent for Wales as well. not to single players out, but Ryan Giggs, for argument's sake, Giggs could have been one of the all-time top scorers for Wales. But the club v country business and everything else, and I won't get into that because I might rile some other people up as well. But he could have gone on to be Gareth Bale's stature for Wales. Don't get me wrong, he was a fantastic world-class footballer for Man United, but because it was almost like it was club first, brother-in-law's sister first, second, and then Wales sort of thing, that was the mentor. And it's only in recent times with the change of management and the change of
culture,
lifestyle, the culture. Absolutely right. The culture is key. Culture is massive, and that togetherness, and it's not just a phrase. Together stronger. The red wall. It's almost like it's a way of life now for Welsh, not just the Welsh fans, but the Welsh footballers as well. They've bought into it. They bought into it from 3 or 4 managers ago, and this is what's led to a small country like Wales' success. We shouldn't be where we are on the world stage. We should be far away from it. We of course we've developed some very good footballers and continue to do so, but we should be nowhere near like these big, huge, powerful nations. But it's the philosophy that has been installed in these players, and the belief from academy level, from the under 15s and the 16s and the 17s at Welsh football level, and it's been brought through. There's a direct pathway. They can see that direct pathway, and I think that's so critical. That's so key. That is. I want to follow up before I completely forget, Greg. The Club World Cup. How was that perceived in America? Did that help, do you think, with the exposure of football soccer in the US, or was it just a PR stunt that?
I think it fell very flat, if I'm being honest, and I don't know why. My guess is we just don't have enough fans over here that are honestly bought into like our own club teams. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm from New Hampshire, which is in New England. Like, our hometown team is the New England Revolution. Like, I'm not gonna walk down the streets of New Hampshire and see anyone wearing any New England Revolution gear. If I walk around the streets in New Hampshire, I'll see 1,000 NFL jerseys right away. So I just don't think the club side of things, I don't think we have like the passion yet, if that makes sense. And I think, like, as you just heard about 20 feet from me, like we got some passionate folks about some teams in Europe, but I think it's spread out across the country so much where I don't know. I don't think it did what we were hoping it would.
I was going to say, because first of all, I didn't think it was right that LA got, is it Miami? I think, is it Beckham's side who were put into the Club World Cup?
Miami.
I think is it Atlanta won? Is it Atlanta maybe? Or someone won the league over there that qualified them for it, or the Champions League system.
From a PR point of view, they just wanted Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah. But then, a few things. One, is the size of America detrimental to the football? Because, like, for us now, if Cardiff are playing an away game, 1,000 Cardiff fans will go to it. There'll be an atmosphere, it'll be a bit tribal. If LA Galaxy are playing away to Miami, you're not going to have an away following. Is that detrimental then to building an us versus them culture as well? Like, it
definitely 100% hurts. I mean, you didn't have to look at LA to Miami. You can look at 2 teams in Texas. They're still probably 6 hours apart, and that's just one state over here. Like, same thing in California. You play a team in Northern California versus Southern California. You're looking at an 8-hour drive. Let alone talking about going from California to Miami. That's like an 8-hour flight at that point. Yeah,
it blows my mind, because like that distance there is like what would be a car journey from Wales to Scotland.
Oh yeah.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
It's massive, and it definitely hurts. I mean, traveling fans, like, it isn't even really a thing at the professional level and really any of our sports here. I also That's actually, not to go back into promotion relegation, but I wish we had more levels or more steps. I think that's the proper term, because then you're talking about some smaller towns having professional teams, and then you can cultivate some more regional rivalries and just makes it a little bit easier for just the average person to kind of get passionate about our sport. And I think that's what we're missing. But yeah, I mean, short answer, yeah, the distance hurts us. We have 30 professional teams at the top level, give or take a couple, it might be a little bit less actually, and it's spread out over this massive area. In terms of just, again, developing the passion, it's just not there.
And what's the equivalent of Champions League away days and things, isn't it? That's probably the equivalent. That's probably what it's like. Is, you want to go to Chicago away, for example, is the equivalent of, I don't know, Liverpool going to play
Moscow. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just crazy. It's just for a league game. It's wild. And before I forget, sorry, Reese, I know I'm talking over. I've seen, looks like America's trying to dip into the rugby market as well. Big fan of rugby myself. Seen that they hosted, was it in Chicago on the weekend? They hosted Ireland against New Zealand. So it appears that's another market that they're trying to open up and reach out to, because I'm not sure how much you know about rugby yourself, mate, how much you follow it, Greg. But
I think it was like a couple Olympics ago, one of our teams did really well, and I want to say rugby sevens. I'm not a big rugby guy. So if anyone's listening and I misspeak here, like, feel free to call me out on and call me an idiot. Like, I'll wear that. But I do remember watching in one of the Olympics, I want to say our sevens team, I think they medaled, and I think it kind of caught on a little bit. The other thing that's starting to happen is more universities are actually starting to add rugby. I'm actually trying to get our university to add it, mostly because I want to bring in those new students and pay for a new soccer field. So, but yeah, I definitely think that it's growing here. I remember my college had rugby, and it was wildly popular. I was shocked, honestly, because I'd never even seen it before. So I definitely think it's on. I don't think it's growing at the rate football, soccer is here, but it's definitely growing. You're seeing a lot more schools are investing in it. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot for programs to have. Like, it's not like American football where each person is wearing $1,000 worth of gear every single game. So I think for us as a athletic culture, I think it's a smart investment.
Sorry, I know we're going way off topic, so do apologize.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's just on my mind, that's all. I was watching the game on Saturday, and it was just one of those things. Sorry, Reese.
That's right. I was just going to ask, Sol. Obviously, high school American football is a massive thing there. It's like Friday Night Lights, shows like that. Is soccer a thing in high schools? Or is it just only university levels and that sort of happens?
Oh, soccer's big in high school. It's not always the most talented, but it is big. It's not as big as American football. Like, I mean, nothing's as big as American football, unfortunately. No offense to American football fans, but it's like when it comes playoff time. Yeah, when it becomes like tournament time, playoff time, like high school soccer. I mean, right now is kind of actually most high school playoffs for soccer. And you'll see then the stands get packed, like you get the school pride and everything. And I don't know, I've already seen some pretty cool videos from some of the tournaments this year. So again, nothing compares to American football. You go down south Friday night, I mean, you're seeing $80 million high school football stadiums. It's absolutely absurd. Jesus. But it's definitely, I don't know, the high school's soccer is very alive and well.
I guess that's wild, that is. A tongue-in-cheek question I got to ask. I always want to ask people from America when they watch football over there. What's your thoughts on the fans? Because I've seen videos of some fans, and it's always like, let's go defense and
let's go Seattle. That lives rent-free in my head, Greg.
It's like fight and win. I always want to know what. Again, it seems like a more friendly, more fun atmosphere, which I wouldn't criticize but it's so hostile when you go to a football review. It's such a tribal thing. I mean, some of the things that get said back and forth each other, and I see the American thing. It just seems so much more. I don't know. Fun. more fun and friendly in some regards. I don't know how I would, if I went to a game, I don't know if I'd be able to stand there and not have a chant going and thinking, hang on, what's going to be like?
I'd say we're a lot nicer in the stands, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing. I don't, for whatever reason, like in my opinion, like over the last 10 years, like at the professional level, like owners, media, like they've really like frowned upon like overly passionate fans. And I mean, maybe there's some stuff that needed to be cleaned up, but for me, like, well, let's get some yelling. Like, let's get some a little bit of tension in these arenas and these stadiums. Like for me, it's fun. Like I remember when I was playing in college, like the away games where I was getting yelled at the most, like that was awesome. Like I loved that. And for whatever reason, I think we've kind of, I don't know, become a little bit lame in that side of things. Obviously there's some fans that get a little too passionate. Like you see some like, yeah, I would agree. Like that's where stuff maybe goes a little bit over the line. I think someone was talking about Rory McIlroy's wife, like that. To me, like that's the stuff we need to get out. But man, like let's get, like, you want to heckle the athletes, like you want to, fans have an impact. Like I'm all for that side of things. And yeah, you mentioned like some of the chants we do over here, like MLS games. Like let's just call it like it is. Like we're just trying to be imitating what we see on TV over in Europe, and we just suck at it right now. Like let's just that's where it's at.
It just,
you know what you need to do, Greg, is come over here and come to a Cardiff game with us and take it all back then.
Oh, I'd have a blast. I would have an absolute blast. I'd probably look like an idiot while I was over there, but I would love every second of it.
It would be class. I would love that if that to be a thing, because you'd have a time of your life, pal. I know it for a fact.
I believe it. I'm jealous of the passion you guys have for the sport, like everywhere. Even like the smaller teams that are, semi-pro. Like I watch videos all the time, like of like sometimes I'm trying to recruit players out of like the 4th step, 5th, and you still see like more fans there or just as many fans as you'll see at like a 2nd tier game over here, sometimes even 1st tier. And again, that type of environment, I think it's awesome. I'm completely jealous of it.
Yeah, it's a tribal thing here. Like you go one side, one team, and it's death or nothing else for it. I mean, you win, and your whole week is brilliant. You lose, and your whole week's ruined. Like, and as Cardiff fans, it's usually ruined. But I was going to ask, obviously, with Wrexham being the Wales' second biggest team after we actually smashed them last week, how much of an impact has that had in the university system, like the Wrexham documentaries and stuff?
I don't know if it's honestly had a big impact, because most of the people like watching the documentary, like they already know football, they already know soccer. I think we've definitely picked up more casual fans. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is super popular, obviously, over here, so I think that aspect helped. I was actually a bigger fan of the Sunderland Till I Die show on Netflix a couple of years ago. Like I know there was one on Leeds. What was it? Take Me Home, Leeds. I think Russell Crowe was like the narrator for that, if I'm remembering correctly. Like I'd say all those shows have had some impact. Not maybe as big as we want. One thing I really appreciate about those shows, though, it's open more. It's like a basketball fan that doesn't know anything about football, soccer. Like more people are asking me, like, why don't we have promotion and relegation? And I'm like, oh, well, let's put away the next 3 hours and talk about this. So I think that's where the biggest impact has been. It's educated people on promotion and relegation. I
hope it doesn't educate too many people, though, because I don't know if you see the map the Welcome to Wrexham posted. There's a map of the UK where all the football teams are, and they've got Cardiff and Swansea down in England. I think they had Brentford up in North England. I think there's Manchester and London. It was atrocious. But yeah, like I said, I mean, both now, next season Wrexham, all Americans get to watch Wrexham lose the Cardiff in the Cup. And after we watch Rinsum, so...
I don't think the casual American fan, I think their geography, if you quiz them on a lot of the teams, I think you'd be pretty disgusted with some of the results you'd get. Probably myself included, to be honest, but hopefully not.
To be fair, though, I think the Wrexham one, did a better job than some like the Man City ones of showing a lot more what goes on at clubs behind the scenes. I think when you got a club like Man City, it's more polished. We've got the manager in place, we've got the players in place. We're only signing one player. Whereas with Wrexham, it's more a case of like we need to hire someone who knows how to hire a manager. We need to hire someone who knows how to
quite enjoyed it. To be fair,
run the club.
I quite enjoy it. To be fair, I will say that.
I haven't watched the new season. I can't because we were relegated and Wrexham got promoted. I refuse to watch them above us.
Oh, no, so I've only seen the first season, in fairness. I've seen a few. I mean, I've not gone that deep. I've seen a few episodes of the first season, and what I've seen at that time I thought was okay.
I'm way more. I find like the Wrexham one, like I mentioned, the Sunderland one, way more interesting. Like Manchester City, like to me, that's not interesting. Like they got all the money in the world. Like I don't. Like, okay, you guys should win all the time. Like, I think the stories of like smaller areas becoming like big teams working their way up, like actually facing adversity. Like Manchester City's version of adversity is someone has a bad training session. Like, okay, like great, every team has to deal with that. Like real adversity, real drama, like real interest is these teams that are working their way up from the lower levels. And then how do they stay at those levels? Like you get teams that, correct me if I'm wrong, like a team goes from like League 2 to League 1 or maybe National League to League 2, like they have to like change often like their stadium, like if they're getting up for the first time. Like there's all sorts of requirements that people over here have no idea about. So to me, like that's way more. There's just so much more that goes into the promotion relegation, especially at the lower levels, than people realize. Yeah,
so National League to League 2, you have to meet certain stadium criteria. Now the FA won't pay for it, but they'll help with funding. And if you don't meet the criteria, even if you win the league, you get rejected for promotion. Yeah, it's insane to think of that. And when you see some of the size of the clubs in the National League now as well, and you think, how has this happened? But again, I don't think Americans would understand a club size of like Scunthorpe, Oldham, ex-Premier League, Tranmere a few years ago, Newport, Wrexham, all in there. Like, it's surprising, I suppose, for like Americans who see them things. But that's why I prefer them over Man City, like you said. Man City's episode is going to be Pep spends another £1 billion on another 5 defenders. A week later, he'll buy another midfielder. Whereas, Sunderland, you just see him on the decline. You see the problems the players are having, refusing to play. You see the managers disagree with the owners. I don't want this player, but you signed him. Where's the next £10,000 going to come from? We can't put the lights on. It's more interesting the league ones are.
It's a much bigger challenge too, and you also I remember I think it was like season 2 of that Sunderland show. Like they did a good job talking about like the second time they went down. Like it wasn't just coaches that were going to lose their jobs. It was like dining hall workers, like just regular people were going to be punished because the players couldn't get the job done on the field. And to me, that's such it just doesn't exist over here. Like everyone that works at the stadiums here, like their jobs are safe no matter what happens on the field. Over there, it's like and even like I'd imagine if you go down enough, I think they talked about this one of the shows, like you're going to lose more just regular people coming to the town for games. Like you're not going to get as many fans visiting. It's going to affect local shops. Like to me, all that, it just adds so much more to it that we just don't have here.
Well, two things there as well. Is one, like last season we had Sunderland come to Cardiff, and I think they sold 3,000 tickets. So 3,000 Sunderland fans come to us. This year we played Burton. I think they had 82 fans come to us. The difference, and again, it's not a big draw, so your walk-up fans, it drops. So you go from, say, having 18,000 fans to 12,000 fans at a game. And what was I saying was like the Sunderland one. I think if you see Man City lose a game, you see the fans all walking out, disappointed, but it's another day for them. The Sunderland one, Chris Coleman was fighting with 2 fans in the car park after the Sunderland one because they were pissed off he lost another game and they wanted to fight him. Like I suppose you're not going to see that unless you go to a lower standard rather than the Premier League. Yeah. But people are more focused on the Premier League because that's where everyone knows about. So I know of Burnley. I don't know about Burton and stuff. Yeah. I think it's disappointing. I think we had the Birmingham City show come out last month. It's like 4 episodes. Only 4 episodes. They could have done a lot more. They could have. It's a league club. But they'll probably do one now with Aston Villa and have like a 2-season thing because it's a bigger club and it's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just imagine sitting in my shoes. Like we don't need the shows about the big clubs. Like we have a first tier over here. We don't have anything else. We're missing the rest of it. We're missing We're missing the smaller towns. Like our biggest cities in the country all have teams. It's okay. What about the next tier cities? And that's, again, we just need more teams, need more drama, need more passion, more stories. Like that's what we're missing.
Yeah. Again, I said the Wrexham documentary did a good job, I think, because it showed a lot of challenges a club really has, and a fair play to Ryan and Rob. Like, I think they came in open-minded as well, and it's not a case of use our money, just go and build us a club. It's a case of like we need to find the right people for the right jobs, back them.
Look at the village though as well, mate. The village, the town, whatever you want to call it. You know, I think, and that's more important for me than anything else, is that I'm far from a Wrexham fan in the slightest. But what they did for that city, town, village, wherever they want to call themselves, is huge. The business that it brought up for local companies, local butchers, hairdressers, whatever, local shops. What it did for that was huge. And I think that's worth its weight in gold, because it's bringing in, they're off again, it's bringing in the PR for them. It's bringing in the PR for that village, or like I say, whatever you want to call it. And it's massive. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Being a Welshman, I love the fact that that's bringing in, although it may not be in my area, it's bringing in the PR and people to the place in Wales and regenerating money in Wales. That's how I see it. And tourism. The thing is, exactly, mate, tourism is only going to help. It's going to bring up repetition of Wales. It's going to help Wales in the long run, whether it be sports and or other. And that's worth its weight in gold for me. It doesn't matter whether you're a Swansea fan, Cardiff, Newport, Wrexham, Merthyr, whatever it may be. You can't put a price on that. And I think they need to be applauded for that personally. Like, rivalries aside, and that's perfect.
You say that. I was reading comments from obviously, we beat Wrexham 2 weeks ago, last week, or the week before last.
Oh, did we? Tell me about
it. Smashing 2-1. But obviously, for Cardiff fans, we don't see Wrexham as a derby or a rival. We just don't. They've never been in our sphere, really, have they? So it's been Swansea for us, and Bristol.
Yeah, they're not demographically close to us, are they? So
yeah, and Wrexham seen us obviously as, for years we've been the bigger club, so they've seen us as a challenge to put one over on us. I see so many comments from Americans saying, I didn't know much about Cardiff before this game, I just wish we beat them. So now all of a sudden Wrexham thing has now made Americans know more about Cardiff as well without realising it. So it's benefited us a bit.
I mean, I think it's great because more Americans are also going to learn about, hey, there is way more than just the Premier League. And I mean, that's been, again, my favorite part about kind of these shows, what Ryan Reynolds and his crew have done. It's just opened people's eyes to how much bigger the sport is and also how much bigger it could be here. So I've appreciated everything they've done. I wish they'd make a show about Leicester City so I could kind of get the behind the scenes of that. But I'm very happy with everything that's been happening.
I tell you what, not to put you on the spot, but hearing the gentleman in the background, if you were happy with it at some point, do you reckon we could get one of your players on at some stage?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we have.
Maybe you might need to sit in as well just to make sure they behave themselves.
I trust them. What's the worst that they could do? They'll behave themselves. They don't have to play. So trust me, I can.
But yeah, I just think it'd be cool. Like if you're okay with it. Obviously, Reece. I'm sorry, Reece, chucking you under this as well. But it'd be cool, I think, to have a catch up with and just see, like, talk about how they got into football in the States, etc., and talk about their life as well. If that's okay with you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, we got international guys.
You right under the bus here, so I do apologize.
I mean, we have one kid that was he almost made it all the way to the top with Notts County. He was with I think the under 23s, the reserves. I'm not quite sure, but now he's over here playing for us. He's a little bit older. We got some other guys from other parts of the world. They all have kind of interesting stories, and now are here at West Virginia playing for me. So yeah, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be great.
I was watching your appearance on the show from a few years ago earlier, and at the time you said about how happy you are with Brendan Rodgers. You've gone from, a more defensive, solid Leicester team to more front foot on the attack sort of side. What's your coaching philosophy? Are you more on the attack and on the ball, bit more possession based, or are you just solid at the back?
We're very possession based now. When I was coaching before, like we had to be a little bit more pragmatic. I would say we were very defensive. We had at my last school, we had a keeper from England. I was extremely lucky to get in recruiting that he could single-handedly keep us in games. Now we're very much focused on what we do with the ball here. We've had, I think, our last game on Sunday. I think the stats showed we had the ball possession-wise 61, 39%. We had another game against a very good team a couple weeks ago. I think it was 72% to 28. So our focus is very much on, I mean, we're not like the biggest team defensively. So the way I say it is like we defend by just controlling the ball and controlling play. So it's very, I don't necessarily want to say attacking minded. I would like to think it's attacking minded, but it's very intentional with what we do with the ball.
Two questions as well is, are you someone who plays wingers out wide, or you are like over you, there's a lot of inverted inside forwards, we say?
I would say a mix. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So we, like, our base is kind of like a 4-3-3 base, and we want our fullbacks to be extremely aggressive in the attack. And I usually like to have a 6 that can kind of drop in between the center backs, and that kind of allows our fullbacks to be much more attacking minded. And with that, we like our wingers to kind of tuck into the half space, and the whole goal is with our fullbacks getting high. The idea is like we force other teams' wingers to kind of say, okay, if I stay high and press, I'm leaving my fullback 2v1 between their fullback and our winger. We're kind of forcing the other team to make decisions. And more often than not, opposing wingers, they'll just drop basically into their back line. So then they're just pressing with one forward. And when our 6 drops in between our center backs, like we have all day on the ball. Now we can kind of start to control play. We can kind of move our opposition around side to side. And so that's how we try to kind of control games. So our wingers need to have the ability to play inside. Otherwise, our system just doesn't work.
And obviously in the final third as well, like it's how Cardiff have started playing really. It's like a 4-3-3 sort of thing. The 6 drops back. We try and dominate the ball a bit more. Our issues in the final third where teams sort of drop into themselves. They overload the defensive area, so we'd always look for another pass. I think my question is, do you allow your players a bit more freedom to be more fluid with the ball, or is it going to be a bit rigid? You know, don't try and get a shot off early. Look for the pass again. How do you coach for the final third?
I try to be more hands off in the final third. Like I think, this is just my personal opinion, but I think if you give a little bit, if you over instruct in the final third, you get players worried about making a mistake, and that's kind of the last thing I want around the final third. Like if a guy feels like he can rip it, bend one up or out propose from, the corner of the 18, like I don't want them second guessing themselves around the final third. Like I want them to know that they have the freedom. Like what I tell them is like go make a mistake in the final third, and then I'll tell you after the fact. Like again, we don't want guys trying to take on 5 people at once or any of that type of nonsense, but we want guys to know that they have a little bit of freedom around the final third. But I tell guys, if you think you can beat this guy 1v1 and it's going to lead to a quality scoring chance, take it. That's a risk we'll take. We don't want risks on our defensive third in possession. We don't want risks in the middle third in possession. But in the final third, you take risks. That's how you score goals. So, again, sometimes after the fact, I got to rein guys in a little bit. But we want to try to encourage creativity, encourage quick combinations. And so for me, I'm a little more hands-off in the final third.
And I agree. Sorry to jump in. I'm miles away from where you're at, but I coach grassroots and I have done for the last 6 years here in Wales, my boys team. And I always like to install when you're taking a shot from distance or whatever it may be, what's the worst that can happen? You take a shot, it goes 20 yards wide. Doesn't matter. We're ready and we're prepared to press for when the goalkeeper has it and brings it out, etc. I don't like the overplayed. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of the overplay from the back. And that's what I was going to ask you as well. The overplay from the back. We see this so often now from top to bottom in the Football League pyramid. You could say it's a Pep Guardiola move, but you see players. It's all well and good seeing Ruben Diaz and Van Dijk or whatever playing from the back, but then you got big 6'7", 25 stone John Barry from Stockport County or whatever, maybe using that off the top of my head, trying to play from the back in the fourth tier of Football League, and it doesn't work. Like, you're just trying to force it. You can't. You've got to play with what you've got, surely.
I think there's way too much attempts for imitation of what Pep's done at Manchester City, and I'm probably a little bit guilty of that as well, to be honest. Like, actually, I've had to tell our guys, like I think the other day I lost my mind at practice, and I was like, guys, you're not Pep Barcelona from the early 2000s. Like, we don't have the capability of doing what you're trying to do right now. Like, we need to be a little more pragmatic at times. We do probably, we do put a massive emphasis on possession, our defensive third. Like, we want guys to have that confidence to play out. But at the same time, like, there are times where, like, I remember, I think I showed them some clips of, like, some of the best center backs in the world. Like, there's times where you got to play to the ugly sides of the game, hit it 60 yards long and get after the second ball. Like, again, there's a little bit of pragmatism to playing out of the back, and we've gotten a lot better at that over the last 3 weeks, thank God. But again, there's definitely a lot of managers, coaches, like, trying to imitate in Manchester City, and there's a lot of teams playing themselves into trouble because it's like, again, you got to be realistic with where you're at and what you can and can't do to a certain extent.
100%.
No.
Fab. We will start to wrap up here if that's okay, because my daddy was a call and I do apologise.
No,
there was something I was going to ask, but I think it's gone from my mind now. No, it's gone. It doesn't matter. I'm sure
I was right. I was right about our rugby team, by the way. I just read the comment there. So I appreciate that. Shout out to Paul.
Oh, this one. Yes. Yeah. I meant to bring this up ages ago, but I got so fascinated with what you were talking about. I completely missed it. Yes. There was something I was going to ask you to finish up. Is it a way, does the university live stream your games? Is it a way that us fans can watch it? Because we would love, I know I would, and I'm sure Reece would, and I'm sure the guys in the comments would love to check out the live stream game. I appreciate, obviously, the time difference, etc. But if there's a way we can do it, we'd love to do it, so we can keep an eye on who's going to come on and speak to us.
I think it's SalemTigers.com. You just find men's soccer, our schedule. All our games are live streamed. Actually, next week we should actually be in the small college national championships, and I think the first two games are at noon, which time difference, some people might still be working, but if you're looking for an excuse to slack off for the last hour of work, can't recommend it enough. I think that's around 5 o'clock.
Anyway, I finished 3 UK time anyway, so I'm sorted. Mate, I look forward to that. I will. I'll check that out, mate, because like I said, apologies for putting you on the spot, but I'd love it if that's something we could do. Something that'd be awesome, and I'm sure the guys in the comments. I'm sorry, by the way, for the people in the comments that I've not got to many of your comments because I've just been so infatuated with it all. So thank you. Anything else from you, Reece, before we?
No, that's brilliant. That was honestly fantastic. Obviously, much better than we've had previously. That was honestly everything we had to ask was answered properly. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Fantastic.
Honestly, mate, thank you so much. The language barrier doesn't seem to be that much of a problem either. So the accent barrier, I should say. No, honestly, thank you so much for taking time out your afternoon. Hope your lads enjoyed watching Liverpool win. Apparently they won 1-0, I think, against Madrid.
It sounds like it's dying down over there, but I know our dining hall just opened up 5 minutes ago too, so they might all be running over there. No, thanks for having me, guys. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
Oh, mate, no, the pleasure's all ours. Thank you. Awesome, Reece, for sorting it out. Guys, don't forget, if you haven't done so already, to like, subscribe, and share. For the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can become an Ace Podcast Nation member. Obviously, the early access shows. Obviously, as we touched upon last night on the Patreon show, part 2s for guest shows will now be on Patreon only. We got Andy Legg maybe next week, maybe the week after sometime, along with some others as well. So don't forget to do that and support the channel. Support us as well for our first official rebranded name of R&R Revelations. Took the 2 months to get a name, but here we are. But thank you all again, Greg. Absolute pleasure, my friend. Good night, God bless, and goodbye, my friends.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional insider transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.